All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar on the CAW webinar on NT206L. Hopefully you can see my screen there, and we will get this underway here. As I noted on the slide, please keep your mics muted during the event. We're not going to have live interaction here, but we are going to take your questions. Just click the Q&A button. I got Jeff McKinnon and TJ Smith in the background. They're going to be monitoring questions for you and answering them live. All right, so with that, let's just get this thing going here. Let's see, get me going here. So, we're not only introducing NT206L today, which is a new product, but we also want to introduce this thing called the NT line. It is going to be a line of products coming up in addition to NT206L. But I thought I'd take a minute just kind of tell you what we're aiming at with this line of products and just give you some idea of where we're trying to see it fit into the market, and hopefully that'll resonate with you. So the NT market really, for us, we've done a fair amount of research on this, and what we're finding is that we need to get some technology out there that is simpler to use, that is easier to use. So, one of the hallmarks of the NT line is absolutely that we're going to strip away some of the complication in setting up some of these systems. In researching it, we've kind of discovered a whole swath of the market out there that is, I don't want to say it's not being served by, complex kind of networked audio, but there are times when it's just not needed. They just need something that they can set up very quickly and get things going very quickly. So there are a good set of people out there that need that functionality, or I guess you could even look at it as that kind of lack of functionality in the complexity of networked audio. So we want to address that. But the second part of that is we want to be able to address it and not sacrifice audio quality in any way, shape, or form. We want to put out a product, or a line of products in this case, that perform at the highest levels, that'll compete with every manufacturer out there in this class. So, these sound like simple hallmarks, but I think they're going to be very meaningful to the market, as you see here going forward when you see where we're aiming these products. All right, so let's see, where does it play? That is the question, right? So we've created this product for production companies that are doing a lot of these grassroots events. This is day-to-day work where these people need to get out and work and do things at a high quality, but it also needs to happen very quickly. Usually, a lot of these events are small crews. Even a lot of the places that we're targeting this don't necessarily have high-end audio people doing their audio work here. So again, it needs to be aimed at them and help them out. So the first place we kind of see this working is certainly in speech and music reinforcement for ballrooms. I think it's going to really, really shine in this area. And as kind of the graphic alludes to here, NT206L is going to be one of the only line source boxes out there where we can put 3 on a pole. So you get some extended headroom, some extended coverage capability, some extended pattern control, et cetera. So it'll be really, really great in that environment. I'm very confident. Second is in small and medium festivals, right? So, where we have these are all over the place in the country and around the world now, where you have these small and medium festivals. And as you're going to see as I go through this product, it's very lightweight. It's very compact. We're talking about a dual 6 line source here. But even in this situation, where small and medium festivals, you could hang a very long line of them because of the weight is low, which is going to increase your pattern control. It's going to help you out in all kinds of ways in these small festivals. But I think it's just going to completely rock in these settings here. It's going to do really, really well here. Also, of course, for theaters, small to medium theaters, where you might have, a steep geometry that you need to cover here. Again, because it's lightweight, it's low profile, you could hang a long line of them to get that vertical coverage in play and do really well in these places. It's got incredible intelligibility and incredible power for a box this size. But it's also well suited for some of these other areas as well. Like sports facilities, indoor and outdoor sporting facilities would be really well served by this product. Certainly houses of worship, I think this is where it's going to do really well, and I think the simplicity of operation is going to play very big in this market, especially for things like teen ministries and even adult ministries, that are outside the main sanctuary where they need to be able to set up and tear down systems very quickly and have it be very easy. These are typically not necessarily professional audio people, even though they may know a little bit about it. But they need to be able to set it up and get it operating quickly and then strike it and take it away. That's going to be a hallmark of that workflow for sure. And a similar kind of thing for performing arts centers, right? Where you might have rehearsal rooms, you might have lobby events, et cetera, that need to set up something quickly and easily and get things going. So, it's going to play right into all of these markets, we feel, and do very, very well there. All right, so let's just take a little quick overview of what NT206L is. As I mentioned, it's a dual 6 line array, mechanically articulated, but yet very powerful. We've kind of stripped away the complexities of networked audio here. This is just simple analog inputs. If you want to move into networked audio with a product like this, you would just get a little single channel node, maybe from Dante, whatever, one of their Avio boxes, and put it right on the front end of your signal delivery, and now you have an entire PA, or as much of the PA as you want to make on networked audio transport. This is also going to be, this product is really cool because it's the first thing that we've really kind of done in Franklin, at the new factory in Franklin, where we kind of conceived and built it from the ground up. And I think we all kind of realized in the market of line source, for sure, that the next big frontier in line source is going to be horizontal control, right? So with that in mind, this is our first product to attempt to do things like this. We've created a new core technology from EAW called AHD, or Adjustable Horizontal Directivity. And we're going to be as you'll see, the only line source down in this category that offers some nimble horizontal coverage. We're going to give you some options of 80 degrees, 110 degrees, or 95 asymmetrical. And this is all toolless, adjustable right on the box. Very simple to do it. But again, this is kind of a first step into that adjustable horizontal domain in line source, right? NT206 also is an active design. You're going to see a lot of this coming from EAW over the next few years. We're going to put a lot of focus into active box design. We think it's the way of the future, no question about it in our minds, and we are going to be heavily focused on outputting active enclosures to the market. Of course, the things that go along with that are, it's a small footprint, it's a small cabling footprint, no amplifiers on the ground, et cetera. There's just a lot of great possibilities with active boxes, especially with as advanced as DSP and amplifier design is now. This is just a real way to go. It's just a really efficient way to do your PA systems. All right, so we put together a little bit of a comparison here, just a point by point comparison, and I've just picked the top 3 line sources out there in my mind. It's Meyer, D&B, and L Acoustics. They're kind of setting the bars these days. So we want to just kind of take a point by point look at each of these and see how we compare here. Remember, one of our hallmarks that we want to do in the NT line is that even though we've made it a simple box to use, in terms of performance, we want it to compete with everybody, if not compete, surpass everybody here. So let's take a look at weight by materials. As I mentioned earlier, it's a lightweight box. So, Myralina comes in at 43 pounds. The other 2 offerings, L Acoustics and D&B, are plastic. But you'll see that NT206L competes with all of them, right? Certainly lighter weight than the other active box, and hangs right in there, even with the plastic enclosures, right? I mean, it's only a pound away from L Acoustics there. The D&B's done a good job with the plastic there at 24 pounds, but we're very competitive there, just strictly by weight. If we move to weight by topology, meaning active versus passive, then obviously Meyer is an active box. The other 2 are passive boxes, and we still hang in there very well too, right? At 32 pounds active. Enclosure at 32 pounds. And I love that because it's active and yet competes with the plastic enclosures, right? Remember, with the plastic enclosures and the passive enclosures, you still got to have amplifiers, speaker cabling, et cetera. So there's a lot more involved there. So their weight, their aggregate weight is actually much higher. Let's look at SPL by performance, max output SPL, and I think you're going to be surprised here, but NT206L actually really, really shines here. So I've given you the max SPL and the frequency range that is covered by each one of these boxes, and as you can see, EAW outpaces all of them, both in terms of SPL and bandwidth, right? We're 20 to, or 65 to 20K there, which is wider than all the other offerings available there. So done a really good job of pulling that together in NT206L. Horizontal directivity, I mentioned this earlier with the new AHD core technology from EAW. We're going to, these other boxes, the competitors here are at a fixed horizontal. We can be at a nimble horizontal here and give you some ability to, shade high frequency away from the center of the room or away from walls, et cetera, and refocus it a little bit, which is really helpful on some of those smaller gigs, especially in ballrooms, things like that, where you want to keep the walls kind of out of play. All right, so, and now the punchline, we'll look at it in terms of list price. And again, I think we serve the market really well here by making it simple to use and also inexpensive. We come in way cheaper than the active competitors here. And remember, with the passive competitors, this is list price without amplification and DSP and speaker systems, right? So this NT206L is a really competitive box, pretty compelling box too, given its performance versus price here. All right, so I hope this is all kind of making sense to you here. We're going to keep the webinar moving right along here. I'm going to turn it over to Bryan DiFabio. He's the technical training manager here at EAW, and he is going to take you through a lot of the accessories and how to set it up, how to operate it, etc. So keep those questions coming if you want. And Bryan, I will certainly turn it over to you here. I will go ahead and give you the screen there, my friend. Go ahead if you want to share, and we'll get you going. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Perfect. Thank you, Robert. So, okay, let's give me one moment here. So before I get into how this product operates, I want to go over some of the key specs. And Robert covered some of these, but I think these numbers are important to know and to reiterate. So this is a dual 6-inch two-way active line array system. It has a 1.75-inch voice coil compression high frequency driver. It's all powered by 1500 watts of amplification. Again, this is inside of the cabinet. A max SPL of 139 decibels. Again, this is it plays loud. It plays low down to 65 hertz. It's lightweight, weighs 32 pounds, and it's available in 115 and 230 volt options. It utilizes most of our EAW technologies like beam with match crossovers and symmetry of sources. This also includes our focusing, our FIR filters, and our our dyno dynamic optimization, which is essentially dynamic EQ, dynamic compression, which limits peaks and allows you to push the gain. It's utilizing our our patented isophasic waveguide. And when you use this in conjunction with focusing and dyno, this provides a near perfect impulse response in your critical frequency ranges. Again, it's using that new technology that Robert mentioned, HD or adjustable horizontal dispersion. This is field adjustable. No tools are necessary. This can be configured to accomplish horizontal dispersion of 80 degrees, 110 degrees, or asymmetrical 95 degrees. I'll also mention too that it's vertically a 10-degree box. And lastly, as this animation spins around, notice the side and rear handles. This makes for easy transport and maneuverability. All right, let's take a look at the rear panel, or a closer look at the rear panel. So as Robert mentioned, this is designed to be familiar connections. So we've got an analog input with a through. The through allows for fewer cables when deploying your system. It's a PowerCon True One input. This also has a through. This allows you to loop up to 2 additional modules, so 3 per circuit. There are connected covers to protect from the outside elements. There's a level knob, 3 indicators. There's a limit, signal, and power indicator for you to use for monitoring. And probably the most intriguing feature here is a high frequency button. When this button is pressed in, the boost is activated. And then when it's activated, this adds additional high frequency extension needed for longer throws and larger audience coverage. And when you start combining this with adjusting the horn to the 80-degree option, you get a really focused high frequency response. And even with that in mind, or taking that concept in mind, you could adjust the bottom of the array to 110 degrees to improve and even out the coverage in the near field. So even though we've removed some of the DSP capabilities, we're still giving you plenty of options to optimize your array when you start combining that high frequency button with the horn flare and the fact that it's adjustable. The last thing I want to mention is we are utilizing, as you can see here, 3-point rigging similar to what you've seen on cabinets like the NTX210L. So we are using that 3-point rigging. Up on the screen is an animation kind of illustrating what it would look like to rotate the horn. You simply push, or at least what I've noticed works best for me is you push on the bottom of the horn part, then you slide it towards the outside of the cabinet, and then you rotate that horn as you see, and then you snap it back into place. Kind of a key indicator from watching others do this is that little notch you see where the lanyard is being fed into that retractable lanyard, where it's being fed into the horn flare. That should always be on the outside. So when you snap it back in, if you see that notch on the outside, you know it's in this correct orientation. And just to reiterate too, this is really flexible. It allows you to adjust for your longer throws when you're using that narrow 80 degrees, provides that even coverage in the near field when you're at 110, or just in general, especially with that asymmetric 95-degree option. It can assist with keeping energy off walls or unwanted surfaces and keep it focused on just the audience areas. And here's a really cool example using resolution into how big of a difference and an improvement these features actually make. So I would focus on the contour lines and then the mix position, which is that little 4-sided object at about 50 feet. And at the top, you have 8 speakers at 110 degrees. So all the horns are set at 110 degrees, and it's not too bad. But then move down to the middle graphic, and the top 5 speakers are set to 80 degrees, and the bottom 3, or the bottom are set to 110. And now you're noticing there's more energy reaching that mix position. And then on that last graphic, the top 3 speakers have a high frequency boost pushed in. So those top 3 boxes have that button pushed in. And now you see we're getting plenty of that energy back towards the rear of that venue, not just hitting mix position, but getting plenty of that energy towards the back of the room. So it's a pretty notable improvement. And again, just a way to optimize your array, all field adjustable, no tools, no DSP required. So pretty powerful features there. Another strength, aside from the ability to adjust your horizontal dispersion, is the accessories that you can utilize with the 206. So the system is capable of multiple deployment options, as you see here on the screen. It's quick and easy to get the system up and running, whether you're flying it, pole mounting it, or ground stacking it. And one important thing I want to note here, indicated by these arrows, is that each deployment is actually using the same flybar frame, the same part. So there's no additional parts needed. The stinger, the pole mount, and the sub-mount adapter accessory, they all ship with the flybar. So when you order the flybar, you're immediately able to accomplish all of these deployments. When you look at a flown array, I'm just going to go over some of I know these questions come up a lot, so I'm just going to go over some of the maximum amount of boxes you can have per deployment. The flybar itself has 2 different positions depending on the orientation of the singer, excuse me. In position A, you can fly up to 24 206s. In position B, it's 20, and that's at a 10-to-1 safety factor. But I always want to reiterate, because in order to accomplish those limits, you're looking at a pretty straight array. You always want to check with resolution to determine if your deployment meets your safety requirements. So certain things can change, like once you start adjusting splay angles and you start adjusting pick points, and maybe you're using a different safety factor. All those come into play. So always check with resolution to make sure that the system you're going to deploy is safe in the venue. The pole mount can support up to 1 to 3 cabinets. Again, this depends on the safety rating of the pole, so just make sure the pole can support that weight. As far as we know, this is the only system available today where you can have 3 enclosures safely mounted on a pole. And then taking a look at ground stack, when you're ground stacking the sub, again, this is going to change depending on the sub you're using, or essentially the base, not the frequency base, but the base that you're supplying. So it depends on the subwoofer you're using. This could be up to 6, but this is also available in resolution too. So check your ground stack configurations in resolution to make sure it's safe, but that limit could be up to 6. And then when you're using just the flybar frame, and when you're using the flybar frame, there's little feet that are in storage positions. You can unscrew them and screw them into the bottom of the frame. That gives you the support you need on any surface. That's up to 4. So the limit ground stack when you're using the flybar frame by itself is 4. And just to reiterate, when you order the flybar, you get all of the items you see here. These are all shipped in the container. So you get the stinger, the pole mount, and the ground stack adapter. So when you order this part with your NT206s, you're able to accomplish all of those deployments that we just covered. There's also a cart that can easily transport 6 NT206s. So the stinger connects to the back. I don't know how easy it is to see on the slide here, but the stinger actually connects to the back of the cart. That's image second from left. And then there's 2 pins on the flybar, or 2 pins on the cart that lock it into place. And then the flybar frame can remain on the top of the array. And then from there, you can take the soft cover and place it over the top of that entire stack. So the soft cover fits over the flybar frame, the stinger, and all 6 NT206s. And then lastly, there's a lid that you can place over the top of the cover, which is good for truck pack. And then also notice on the image of the bottom of that lid, there's a place to store your pole mount and sub mount accessory. So these also connect with two push pins to secure in place. So our engineers really put a lot of time into not only developing the accessories, but making sure you can transport your whole system easily night in, night out, depending on which deployment you're using. So very versatile accessories and also transport options we have. This next slide is an animation showing how all of these parts move and going through the different configuration options. So it's going to move from the cart to ground stack to pole mount to flown. I'll kind of let it run through its cycle once, and then I'll click through over to the next slide. So that's going back to the cart. So as you watch everything kind of move, you can see how easy it is to configure all these different deployment options with the accessories. Another common question that comes up is what sub to use with the system. There is going to be a flyable 16-inch sub coming, probably early 2026. In the meantime, though, we do have some solutions in the current catalog. So you could utilize our RS-115 or RS-118, or you could step up to the SPX-118F or SPX-218. And lastly, the RS-18F could also work in this case. So all of these pair well and voice well with the 206 and is able to use the accessories that we mentioned prior. Resolution 212 is available now. It has all of the NT206 data files. One exception is the 95 asymmetrical data file. So to model asymmetric coverage, we currently are working on that. That's weeks, if not, or maybe a week, if not days away from being included in a public release where you will be able to model with that 95-degree asymmetric coverage. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, you're able to model and build arrays and all the deployment options in Resolution now. It's on our website, just eaw.com, and then it's under the download software option. So that's live on the website. The last thing I want to cover is our support collateral. What do we offer on the product page that supports the usage of the system? We have a spec sheet available, a user manual, accessory instructions, 2D and 3D drawings. There's Revit files available. SketchUp files are around the corner. Those will be available shortly. And then, as I mentioned, Resolution 212.0 support, although when we do have that 95-degree asymmetrical support, that'll probably become 212.1. So all those are available on the website now, available with the product. With that, I think it's time to bring Robert back in. And we can start to answer some of your questions and address any comments you may have to end the webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Nice job there, man. Great stuff. Appreciate you doing all that. Let's see. So yeah, we'll just kind of wrap it up here. There's been a fantastic array of questions coming in, still coming in to the Q&A. So, we'll hang out for a few minutes here and answer those. But thank you all for attending. Very nicely done there, everybody. And I hope you enjoy this product. I hope you get your ears on this product. We've had people out to Franklin doing some listening testing and stuff with customers, et cetera, and it's been overwhelmingly positive about it. So we're very excited about this product, and we're very excited about this product line. We think this is going to do very well going forward. We're going to have a number of products coming in the NT line, so look for those coming forward here. All right.